And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's about 5:25 on the West Coast, 8:25 on the East Coast. So, final topics here. Tommy, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I'm going to have you go first.
Okay, probably because the secrets means he's still looking. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's fine. So Keylor Navas, it's pretty obvious that he is one of the greatest Central American players to come out of in the last 30 years. He plays for the Costa Rican national team, and he's 30 years old. For a player to come from Costa Rica, you know, a country that, yes, they've had their good soccer players throughout their career. You look at the Costa Rican national team, they have some pretty good players. And it's not a disrespect to any of them prior, because what they've done in the last couple of World Cups has been nothing short of phenomenal. So you look at, again, pulling up the World Cup record, you know, they made it in 2002, 2006, didn't qualify in 2010, but in 2014 had the phenomenal run to the quarterfinals, and a lot of it had to do with the exceptional play of Navas. If it wasn't for Manuel Neuer of Germany, Navas is arguably the best keeper of that tournament. And he was voted one of the top players in the tournament, which goes to show you the level of respect the other players had for him. Again, you look at the roster as it's built. Brian Ruiz, the captain, who's been here, done that for a long time. Joel Campbell, Colindres has been here for a while. Michael Umania, who's been on the team for almost 100 caps. It's very impressive. So this is a very deep Costa Rica national team, but none of them have had the level of success. Maybe Borges is close, the midfielder, but Navas, to make it to one of the best clubs in the world and be the starting goalkeeper on a national team, be the starting goalkeeper on a Real Madrid team that has gone back-to-back Champions League titles. He is influencing a country, which is phenomenal to think about. The way the soccer is gonna progress is players paving the way, and Navas is paving a way for generations of players. And the player that I compare him to, because he's the first player in the last 30 years, is El Mágico González. And for some of you who probably know this, maybe not, I'm from El Salvador. And El Mágico González was thought of as one of the greatest players in Central American history, playing for El Salvador for 22 years, 62 caps, 21 goals, leading them to one of their only World Cup in 1982. Granted, it wasn't the best World Cup. They got blown out 10-1 to Hungary, which is known as the biggest defeat in World Cup history. But the second time in history, but still leading them to a World Cup for El Salvador, that's huge. And for him to get to play in La Liga, which is the top club, which in the 80s was one of the top, and it still is, one of the premier leagues in the world. La Liga was very competitive. You know, you had teams, a team that you probably haven't heard of, Cadiz, who's now in the Segunda Division, was promoted because of his play. And he was also pursued by Atletico Madrid. Think about that, in the 80s. And he had interest from clubs around the world. He played at FAS in El Salvador, played for Valladolid in Spain, played back at Cadiz, played at FAS again. And he had a ridiculous career. He had a career that started in 1975 and ended in 1999. It's pretty impressive. And when you talk about El Salvador soccer, when you talk about El Salvador soccer today, the only player you hear about, the only player that people compare to the GOAT in that particular sport is González. And Navas is pictured in the same way, I feel, in Costa Rica that González is in El Salvador, in that he is the player that everyone wants to be with. Again, not everyone wants to be a goalie, I get that. But to be at that level, to be the best at the premier, to be at the top of your game, to lead a team like Costa Rica, that, it's a little island, but they're pretty good, to lead them to the quarterfinals of a World Cup, and then to top that better by being transferred to Real Madrid, having the success. It makes sense that everyone wants to be like Navas. Everyone is going to push themselves to be better and going to be pushed themselves to be great. And Costa Rica, they look really good. When they beat the U.S. 4-0, it wasn't a fluke. They just were flat out really great. And a lot of it has to do with, Ruiz, the captain, playing very well. But a leadership comes from the back line. And if you don't have a good back line of leadership, you're not going to go anywhere. And Navas has that. And he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And granted, the season he had at Real Madrid was up and down, but he still ended the season with glory, winning the Champions League again. Navas is so influential to a country. Think about that. Yes, in the U.S. we've had our players. We've gone from, Alexi Lalas to Brian McBride to Landon Donovan to now potentially to Dempsey and then Pulisic. Costa Rica, it went from the teams in 2002, 2006, they had great rosters, and then Ruiz playing into his own, to the level that Navas is at, to being at the club that he's at and performing at a high level. That jumped up huge. Like, you look at the other players on this roster, a lot of them still play in Costa Rica. David Guzman, who plays for the Timbers, he plays in the United States. Venegas plays for Minnesota United. Joel Campbell is a loanee on Arsenal right now. A lot of them play for Saprissa, the premier club in Costa Rica. Some of them play around the world at other clubs. Borges plays at Deportivo. Ruiz plays at Sporting in Portugal. You look at Gamboa, who plays at Celtic in Scotland. So again, and Palermo for Gonzalez, who plays on defense. They're progressing slowly. Costa Rica is slowly progressing themselves to be a great soccer nation. But for Navas to be at the top, it shows that Costa Rica soccer is progressing very fast. And Costa Rica is embracing that culture. There's stories that come out about everyone having a Navas jersey, even if they don't play goalie. Everyone wants to be Navas. He's influencing a country. And that is a cool story. So that's my final topic. Tommy, what do you got?
Well, going off of influencing people, I have some influential quotes that I have just found and am piggybacking off of Sam Cerrone right now.
Yes.
So,
awesome.
Here are just a couple of quotes that I found and might help you one day and or today and or whenever you listen to this podcast. I'm talking to you, the person that is listening to this right now, fourth wall break. Okay. So the first one is, a man once told the Buddha, "I want happiness." The Buddha replied, "First remove I, that's ego. Then remove want, that's desire. And now all you're left with is happiness." So that was a good quote. Another one is, I think the best and most precious things in life are big warm hugs, passionate kisses, the smell of rain, daydreaming, walking through a field of wildflowers, laughing, smiles from anyone, particularly strangers, soft, cushy pillows, anything chocolate, and lastly, being loved. And last but not least, never tell your problems to anyone. 20% don't care, and the other 80% are glad you have them. Those are some quotes that I found online. Hopefully you enjoyed them. They're not influential as much, but well, here's one that everybody knows. Whenever you fall down, just remember, you can always get back up.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tommy. Oh, your influence is influencing me. So I appreciate that. Cool. Well, again, thank you, Tommy, for the final topic. Thank you for all those listening. Again, we're so close to 1,000. Get the likes, get the hits. We're right there. We're right on the cusp. We'll do this again next week, where we will figure out what the offseason is. The NBA draft's coming around. I believe that's actually very shortly. So actually, I'm going to look that up before we sign off here. So the draft. It is on the 22nd. So we'll do a pre-draft here. Might also do another one, strictly podcast on the NBA draft with Andy Sides, bring him back again. Talk about that, and then in the summer we're full into baseball mode now. So we'll talk about that Confederations Cup as well, and more World Cup qualifying and the Gold Cup this summer. So there's gonna be a lot of soccer. There's gonna be a lot of baseball. So if you're not into either of those two, it's going to be a long summer till September. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. We're going to round it out with some music here. So we have Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Fire and Rain on the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane. Till next time, see ya.
If we get 1,000 likes, I will give you a hug. Goodbye!
I'm from the biggest little city in the wild, wild west, Reno. Now you know it's the city. I rap a little rain, but mostly fire. Though I tire and perspire through the mire, I will rise again. Not from the city of sin, from the city that wins. White trash, catching fire, burning breath for my kin. Took my lessons pushing wood every day in the street. Get up early in the morning, cause my daddy always told me, boy, wake up, Jacob. Days are breaking, coffee's boiling and the bread's a baking. Roll out, cowboy, come and get it. Before I throw it out and spit in the skillet. Yeah, so I finish up my breakfast, put away the ham. Now I never put a T on the end of K. Then take a receiver and banging down the double doors. Hear my spurs jingle jangle as I mount my horse. I see fire, I see rain, yeah. 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 Now check it, I grew up inside the 495. In the shadow of the Capitol is where I resided. Learned to talk real slick and to keep my stride. Cause deep down I knew my future was already decided. I had a lot of people telling me off, though, had me marching in the line of a familiar barcode. But I restocked my Reeboks, my walk was so cocky. On the way I took some cheap shots, that would never stop me. So with nothing to my name but some rhymes and game, took my dream to the coast, seeking fortune and fame. And I've been panning for gold, but it ain't come up yet. It takes time to blow, so I don't get upset. Cause I'm on it like a bonnet on a pioneer. And I'm the king like Crockett on this wild frontier. To my peers taking shots, you can be my guest. Because the F won't rest till I'm known as the best. I see fire, I see rain, yeah. 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 No more changing horses in the middle of the stream, chasing dreams full steam, earn esteem with the team. We bringing meat to the table, putting marrow in your bones, to your head, shoulders, knees and toes, eyes, ears, mouth and nose. Tickling your senses you ain't even know you had. So get your hands in the air like you was hailing the cab. And if you're down in the dumps and it ain't going swell, here's a little anecdote that'll do you well. It takes more fire and rain to nourish a forest, to make it flourish, make it grow and get that timber, that tower, deriving power from the sun and putting roots to soil, till that seed that you sow becomes a mighty sequoia. So it's a given, I'm not gonna give in, I just keep on living. No, I never quit cause I'm driven, and when I'm done I'll pass the mic to my next of kin. Until we meet again, I'll be dropping demos from my coffin.